All right. First of all, my name is Brian Kale. I'm from the Goose Creek District, which is Loudoun County, Virginia. There's my email there. But also, if you don't catch it here, it's on the really bad no pizzazz sign that's hanging from the television as well. I thought that at the last minute, like, oh, I probably should do this. Also, if you wish to get a copy of the slides, sign up right here and I will send you a copy of all these slides, or at least a link to my Dropbox so you can pull them off at your leisure. More than likely, I'm also recording the class too, so I'm going to put it on our district's Facebook site. The video's going to be available too, so why not? Let's do multimedia, right? All about pizzazz. Alright, so there we go. Lord Baden-Powell had a quote for everything. I tell you what, you pick a subject, he had a quote for it. Pretty amazing. This one, perfect for pizzazz. See things from the boys' point of view. Always. In Cub Scouts, make sure you're matching the 12 core values and seeing it from the boys' point of view. Can't go wrong. They'll have a great time and they'll learn something even though they don't know they're learning. Alright. Pizzazz is a word that, let's face it, I don't think anyone uses this word in regular language anymore. If someone uses it at your work or in your church, something like that, you'd be like, right, pizzazz. It's a lot like huzzah. You don't hear that a whole lot anymore either, but it has a very distinct meaning. It's encouraging fun, learning. Ultimately, though, what you're doing is making sure that your program is fun and people want to come back next time, right? If they go, well, that was just like school, I don't want to come back. You only get one shot sometimes. The parents show up, the kids show up. If the kid is not clamoring to go to Cub Scouts, parents go, well, we got 14,000 other things to do today. You know what? Why don't we go do this today? And next week it'll be something else today. And then we'll do something else. And next thing you know, you've lost a boy. Did not even have a chance to do so. Just about coming back for more. Pizzazz. I loved courses in college that would always define the word. Because I'm like, it always gave me a sense of where we're going. Quality of being excited. Yeah, it's about excitement. Alluring. Enchanting. Oomph. I like the word oomph too, that's a great word. Okay. So, Scouting is an incredible program. We're teaching citizenship. We're teaching physical fitness. We're outdoors. We're doing a lot of things. But, you know what? Kids aren't paying attention a lot of times. Here we are. Back in school, most likely, because that's where your meetings are. And you're like, why aren't you guys excited like I am? Mainly because, well, they're boys. Really? They're 6 to 11-year-olds. They've been in school all day long. More than likely your PAC meeting is on a school day, right? Yeah. Almost everybody's is. Because we don't want to encroach on the family's weekend time. So, they've been in school all day long. They've been sitting. They've been listening to a teacher tell them, you're going to do this, and here's your homework, and blah, blah, blah. Matter of fact, you're in a classroom right now, and I have done my best to try to put as much scouting stuff in here as possible to take away from the fact that ultimately this is an English classroom. Without taking everything down. I've done as much as I can, right? Okay. Why pizzazz? Tons of people with different interests. Absolutely. They all want different things from your program. But their attention spans are short. And I tell you what, I swear I think the Cub Scout leaders and the parents sometimes, their attention span is shorter than the boys. The parents in the back with their phones are going, hey, did you see what was going on? And talk, chatter in the little, excuse me, program. The kids are taking cues from the parents. The program needs to be entertaining for them too. Boys have been told to stay quiet all day. Time for that's over. You need to teach them something, you bet. But you need to let them be boys. That's where the fun is. So make sure you do that. And ultimately, parents should have fun too. They should think, that was a fun meeting. Even if sometimes the fun is, I just love seeing my son do that. He had a great time. Look at the smile on his face. That is fun to them too. So you're running that program. What's pizzazz? Fun? Energy? Memorable? You bet. Here's the one that most people don't get. Useful for memory cues. What the heck does that mean? Well, wait. I'll show you in just a second. Pizzazz doesn't have to be just bigger, louder. That is not pizzazz. That's energy. Sometimes it is part of pizzazz. Sometimes it's to sort of make it big presentation. We're going to sell popcorn. I got to get big. I got to be large. I got to move around. But it's not necessarily always bigger than life. Sometimes it's just attention to detail. Adding a little more oomph to it. Like for instance, the flags in the back corner. You walked in because the room is dark and they're spotlighted. They are the center of attention, right? That's a little bit of pizzazz. Some of your posters, just some subliminal things I have there. It has information like Cub Scouting, what Cub Scouting is about. These little things are part of pizzazz. And this is what you, showing that you have given thought to how you're going to present your program. Okay, so I've said memory cues. What does that mean? Simple. Bob Vince here, this is one of our leaders here in the council, gave a talk about sportsmanship. He's wearing a referee's shirt. Okay, he's talking about sportsmanship. Boys hear this all the time. Got to be good sports, you know, let's all play fair, da da da. But ultimately, the memory cue of him wearing a uniform at the time he's talking adds more to it. It's very subtle, but it's a great memory cue. They will remember the sportsmanship talk because he was in a uniform. He didn't have a whistle on this, but even better yet, you know, blow a whistle every once in a while to talk about something or a major point. Boys love the loud noise. The parents may not, but the boys will. And they get that cue. And it helps solidify. Okay? Allow you to reuse the prop later. Later on, if we're going to talk about something else, maybe not sportsmanship related, but sportsmanship has a little bit to do with it, that uniform comes back out. It shows up again. You know, if we're going to talk about building good things, and I give you a little talk about building, and I've got my hat on. You know, and I do some funny things every once in a while about getting hit in the head, obviously, because you got to do something funny to get them to laugh. Later on, if we're doing something else, and the helmet is close by, the memory cue of building comes back to mind. It's good things to do. Okay. So pizzazz, it just happens. Yeah, it's magic. No, it's not magic. There's nothing in Cub Scouts that's magic. There's work behind the scenes. Parents may think it's magic. That was a great program. Yeah, well, you know, didn't take you any time at all. Right. Yeah. It took hours and hours of planning sometimes. It took lots of hands, most of the time. It is just about planning. Every single one of these things has planning behind it. They look rather spontaneous. Hey, we're at summer camp, great. See this gateway right here? There was planning involved in building the gateway. There was planning involved in choosing, you know, having the boys choose a name and then painting them a totem to give them representation at camp. Blue and gold, I don't even have to talk about the preparation there. Even here, I'm going to talk about flags. The building of these particular tests and guides took time to add more to it than just standing up front with a flag talking about the United States flag. Right? It takes time. Alright, so how do you put pizzazz in it? We're going to go through every one of these pretty quickly, unfortunately, just because of the amount of time. But I'm going to give you instances of all these. But don't forget, there's so much more. It is only limited by your imagination. And sometimes your time. Let's face it, we all have other jobs. And you know, you can't put 80 hours into this event that's going to take an hour and you only have, you know, a week to get it done. Most of us just can't do it. But you put planning behind it. Alright, so visual aids. Alright, so everybody was hiking up here with backpacks on, right? Backpack. Most kids, 6 to 10, 6 to 11, know what a backpack looks like. They may never put one on. They may never have actually even touched one. I can talk about it all day long. I can have a picture of it. It means nothing. Here's a backpack. We're going to talk about backpack. Boys can touch it. Boys can try it on. Show how it's adjusted. They may not be using these in Cub Scouts, but that particular activity makes it interesting. Cub Scouts rule number 1. If you talk to them for more than 5 minutes without getting them up and doing something, you have lost them. If you have something that's 15 minutes worth of talking, you better have 2 activities in there. 5 minutes, activity, 5 minutes, activity, 5 minutes. Because if you don't, he's touching me, he's not touching me, hey, there's a bug. Wow, clouds. Am I wrong? You guys are glad it's Cub Scouts. This is what they do. So they do things like this. You want to talk about camping gear. You want to talk about orientation. Bring a bit compasses. You know, I'm sure you can find enough compasses. Bring a big one that's made out of poster board that shows how a compass works. Let them do things. You know, bring a map. Have them touch it. Have them the one carrying it. These are the kind of things that make the skill real, not just a lecture. Okay? Here's the rule. 5 minutes. It is like a law of nature. And that applies to tigers on up to Weebles. You know, Weebles, oh, they're 10, 11 years, you know, they're 9, 10, 11. They got more time. No, 5 minutes. That's about what you got. And they need to be moving. Even if it's just moving and doing a cheer, something. Get them up, then get them back. Posters. Having posters and things around are great. Song words, cues, okay. Cub Scout Promise. You guys have that posted in your meetings? If you don't, why not? Well, we expect the boys to memorize it. Great. Do you ever have a day like I do every once in a while that I'm going between like, oh, what's the next line? How embarrassing is that? You know? Not to mention the fact, I want my parents to say it with them. I want them to be involved here because the law of the pack speaks to the Akela. The Akela is them and you, right? It's not wrong to have this up. It's not a crutch. You want the boys to understand and promise something. Well, I don't want them to stumble on the fact that they forgot a word or be embarrassed by the fact they don't remember the words overly well. Have it up. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. And maybe even having the words there, they read it during a downtime or a moment where their mind is wandering and they can remember, I have promised to do my best to do my duty to God and my country. These are important things. Skits. They're not just for campfires. Use skits and run-ons in your pack meetings, in your den meetings, whatever. Okay? Here's the thing about skits though. You want the boys to do more than the adults. Adult skits are pretty funny, but don't make it, we're just nothing but adults do it. I often in my pack meeting have an assistant cub master who is my straight man. You know, it's a little Abbott Costello kind of thing going on. We do those all the time. Those are great skits and or run-ons. But make sure you bring your boys in too. But they need to be quick and easy to understand. A lot of dialogue is the death of a skit. Especially if the boys are saying it. What do you say? Because after it happens, and after the boys mumble it, every other boy's going, what do you say? What do you say? I don't know. What do you say? And it takes about 4 or 5 minutes to get everybody back on target again. Because they're too busy trying to figure out what he said. So remember, typically dialogue death is skit. Also, make sure you previewed it. Your boys go, hey, we got a great skit, Mr. Kale. Okay. What you gonna do? It's no, what are you gonna do? I need to hear everything about it. Because you gotta make sure it's appropriate. Boys, they mean to be appropriate, but it's not always is. Okay? It should be the scout oath law. You know, having a running gag. You guys know what a run-on is. Somebody comes in and someone's talking and he's tossed the ball. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm doing a meeting here. What are you doing? I'm throwing up. And then walks off stage. It is a groaner. Your parents are like, oh! And your boys may do too, but ultimately they love that. Have a theme in each one where there's 2 or 3 run-ons that sort of go together and they show up every 5 to 10 minutes. The best one I love for Cub Scouts is you have one boy, especially your den chiefs, come in, be prepared. And then later on, like 2 boys come here, be prepared. And like the 3rd time, they come up there and they're very quiet. And someone in the back makes a really loud noise. Foghorns, great. And then the boys go, we told you to be prepared. That is the best running gag ever. They love it. The boys absolutely, I mean, even running gags like, you know, someone in the background. You hear a horse? And all of a sudden, a rider comes in with, message for you, sir. These are great gags. The boys, you know, you may say, oh, those are the corniest things I've ever heard. Yes, they are. The boys love that. They love the cornier the better. Remember, these are little boys. Some of these things are new to them, you know. But timing. Time is important. A run-on fails if the leader knows a run-on's coming and goes, okay, we're going on. Okay, at that point the run-on's dead. You know? They should interrupt the speaker. It should be as if they didn't know it was coming. So there's some timing and a little bit of practice. Costumes. Seriously. How many times... Okay, so you're going to go out to baseball, right? You're going to go to a baseball game. Now I can come and say, hey guys, we're going to go to a baseball game. This is going to be great. Or I can go, so, who's ready to go to the ballpark, huh? Who's ready, huh? You ready? And maybe, you know, I have a softball. And what's the difference between the way I just presented that? About 15 seconds of planning. But about infinite amount of attention getter. Okay? That's all it takes. Just like the helmet. Just like we're going to talk about, we're going on our 4th of July parade. These are that simple. Where do you get these? oh, I don't know, Party City or go to a thrift store, spend $1 or $2. Spend more than about $3 or $4 on a Pizzazz item, you spend too much. Build something at home. I wear one of the Pinewood Derby flags as a cape. That's what it's time for. Pinewood Derby man. How simple is that? It's that easy. Hats, wigs, jackets. Fuse masks to make sure they're tasteful. The political ones, no, big old nails sticking out of the head. I don't really need to tell you that, but think it through. How will it be perceived by the group? Does it fit within the Scout oath and law? Very important. As many pieces as you can. I brought five Rubbermaid things of things. I must have at least 10 more at home. There are tons and tons of things, from whether it be a Tarzan outfit I made from really cheap cloth from like a Joann Fabrics, to, well, we're going to go down here and we're going to do us a roundup. It doesn't take much. Simple things. Whether it be a vest, a jacket, something, anything, a cape. There are tons and tons of things that are so easy that add just a little bit more, just a little bit. Maybe you want to make a ceremony or something more important. Maybe a top hat and the appropriate, a black jacket over your Scout uniform changes the tone just a little bit. And if you use something as a habit, where it's always that, the boys know, wait a minute, this is a serious, this is important, or this means this, or this means that. Doing something the second time is not a bad thing. The boys like knowing and anticipating what's coming. Once again, those memory cues. See? White shirt, top hat, jacket. Nice. All right. Songs, cheers. Yes and yes. Every single meeting should have at least one song and one cheer. Well, wait a minute, we have so many other things to teach. Yeah. But you need to get the boys up, moving, and blow off some energy, or you won't teach them anything. Really. And songs and cheers have a lesson in them to themselves. It's about confidence. It's an opportunity for a dim lead. These are tigers, little guys. And they're up there with their tiger faces, and they sang a tiger scratch song. Okay? It was the most simplest song you've ever heard. It was also the cutest thing you've ever seen. But anyway, because they're little and it just, but they were up front and they had a great time. Now, one of them by himself might have been like, oh, but as a group, they do quite well. But as they do more and more of that, they'll get more confident in what they do. Okay? Whether it be singing a patriotic song, whether it be singing a song about popcorn, whatever the case may be, a song doesn't have to be just a waste of a couple minutes. It can be part of your theme. Cheers, you can make anything a cheer. Anything. Anything. The other day I did a popcorn cheer and made it up on the fly. Each den was going to yell pop, pop, pop when I pointed out. Yeah, pop, 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 and eventually I'm just getting the whole group going. And it was very loud, it was very boisterous, it was exactly what I looked for. And then we brought it back down and we did back to our program. It's pizzazz. Okay? Let it be loud. Let the boys be loud. So, here's the key takeaway here. I often bring up some parents to lead the cheer. Parents hate this. No, not really. They actually like this. They feign that they don't want to. But I bring them up anyway, and the fact that because their boys love to see them up front. Come on, you're gonna help me out with this. Oh, I don't want to. Come on. And the boy, come on, Dad. It's a great opportunity to do these kind of things. Going back to songs for just a second. If your pack doesn't have a culture of singing, maybe what you need to do is start putting up on the wall words to certain songs. Create your favorite songbook. Perhaps you have a page, a small little card or something like that each month or 2 months that has a song on it, and it can be put on a little book. You make a little book out of it or something like that. Make it a craft and also a song. They will always find their favorites. My pack's favorite is Da Moose and Baby Shark song. Anytime I say it's time for a song, they'll yell, Da Moose? Little Baby Shark? No, different one today. Ah! And most likely I'll fit in Da Moose or Baby Shark at the end of the pack meeting because they've asked for it and that's what they want. They're anticipating. Also, remember, National Anthem is not a background music. So if the national anthem is the only song that is one of those that you need to pay attention to the timing of when you use it and the appropriateness of it. Yes?
I was going to say, if you create something like a packed songbook or something, you can actually email things to people's Kindles, and you can get the Kindle out for like iPods and stuff. So you could actually have it as an ebook for your entire pack if you wanted, and it's free.
And a lot of times what we did too to make it semi-waterproof is an index card and some packing tape. Clear packing tape. Done. That's poor man's lamination. Alright? Tie it together a little bit. Presentations. Okay. There are tons and tons of presentations that you do, right? This was a camping one. Now, I could have done it like this. Okay guys, what are we going to take camping? Don't forget to bring a flashlight. I mean, even this is a little pizzazz. It's a very, very, very little pizzazz, but at least it's a little bit. I often will use things like this for a game show and ask them, what are you going to bring? And I've got different things to hold up and signs to move at, so we can actually add a little to it. But going through and saying, hey, what are you going to bring? Clothing, yeah, tent. Are you going to bring the kitchen sink? No, that kind of thing. But it's so much more powerful if you have the gear actually there. When we're doing a camping program, I actually have everything I should be bringing camping and about 15 things I shouldn't. Like the soccer ball, the scooter, and a couple other things. This was my straight man, by the way. And I just kept piling it on. How about this? Yes! You never know when you might need a skateboard. Oh yeah, and how about this? Yes! Ultimately, he obviously can't bear the weight and crumples from it. You know, showing that that wasn't what we should have done. The boys had a great time. Plus they enjoy seeing, you know, Mr. Thorpe crumpling under the pressure that I put on him. It's a lot of fun. It is a fun skit that teaches something. Use these opportunities. Make it a learning presentation by making it fun. Okay? Here's the key too. The presenter needs to be engaging. Okay, I can bring up 1,000 props. But if you're going to woodenly show them or use them like this, it's going to be a very difficult presentation. Yes, we are going to talk today about the possible history of the United States. It was quite good. They signed the Declaration of Independence. Wow, I can put a hat on you all day long. That's not going to solve anything, right? Now, if I go here, hark! I find a pun. We came over here and we signed the Declaration of Independence right here. Okay. It's a matter of energy and presentation, right? Of course, the hair doesn't hurt either. These kind of things make all the difference in the world. It's about the level of including the boys and channeling your inner child. You know, this is the one time as adults it's good to channel that inner child. All through our work day. No, shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that. I should be the responsible one. This is your chance. Channel it. Have fun with it. That's why I love Cub Scouting so much. You know, my oldest boy has moved to Boy Scouts, and you should go. No, no. My middle boy's still in Cub Scouts. I love Cub Scouts so much. We're going to do that. Here we are. Look behind me. Look at all the stuff I have back there. You can't even see all of it. There's more stuff here, and there was more stuff here. Now, was it a lot of pain to bring it all to the meeting? Yes, it was. Did it take time for me to put it all together? Yes, it did. Did it make a great presentation, and then later on the boys talked to me about it the next meeting about, that was great. Can we do something like that again? Yes, they did. That's my success criteria. If they come to me later on, they say, that was the best, and can we do that again? Check. Good program. And I keep it in my back pocket to use again because boys like the repetition. They like the anticipation. And it helps teach. Scouting is a game with purpose, right? Okay. Use these kind of things for thank yous to adult leaders and such. Bring them up front. Have a cool pizzazz thing. Someone did the blue and gold was the coordinator. The Golden Spoon Award. The coveted Golden Spoon Award. Make a big deal. I gave out a couple adult award knots, you know, which are relatively boring for the boys' point of view. I gave it out right after I gave out a whole bunch of belt loops. And then one of the leaders came down and we talked about the knot permit because it was the Weeblos in there. It was yellow on yellow. And we're like, this is like a mustard stain. My gosh, you've already got one. And we made it a little skit. The boys liked it. It gave me a moment. But I also had the opportunity to thank my leader because it's important to do that in front of the boys to learn that you should thank people at all times, even for the smallest of things. Right? Game with a purpose. You know, fire safeties. We do the fire safety one, which actually is funny, with a series of marionettes. You know, we went camping. One guy holds up a tent. And we gathered firewood. And then we put the firewood in the tent. Then someone else with a big sign, "Oh no, don't do that!" Why shouldn't we do that? And it becomes a fun little, and every time the "oh no" sign comes up, the boys are to yell as loud as they can. "Oh no, don't do that!" They're very engaged because they're looking forward to the opportunity to yell, "Oh no, don't do that!" And they're following along their story, which is teaching something, fire safety. Ceremonies. Some people believe that ceremonies should only be a once or twice a year thing. That if you do too many of them, you cheapen it. I disagree wholeheartedly. Ceremonies have a place in almost every single PAC meeting at the minimum. I think ceremonies have a place in the DIN meeting as well. Not just for ranks, you know, here's your bobcat, here's your ranks, this kind of thing. Not just for, I use it a lot of times, our PAC does something called the Eagle Feather Award. The Eagle Feather is not a Boy Scout award, but it's part of our culture. If we have a boy that's done something that is showing his scout spirit or has helped other people in a significant way, any adult, whether it be a parent, teacher, me, or another leader, can nominate him. A nomination means you got it. And the boy is brought front, we make a really big deal ceremony of describing what this boy has done and why it's so important. And he gets an Eagle Feather. That used to be all we did. Of course, the Eagle Feather lasted about the rest of that meeting, and then it was in pieces. So I was like, well, that's a shame. So I also moved into actually creating knots, a woggle, so they could replace their neckerchief slide. So they could wear that every meeting to remind the boys that I'm an Eagle Feather awardee, and the reason was because I showed scout spirit. It's a ceremony. It doesn't have to be just because 4 boys walking in with a flag, doing crossing the flag. That's an opening ceremony. That's very important, but do other things as well. Anything that shows thoughtfulness and it's got a moment of pace, just gentle pace, is a ceremony. It gets the boys to stop for just a moment and think about the seriousness or the value of what's going on at that moment. And it's very valuable to do. Yeah, you want your PAC meeting to be fun, but it can't be just a continuous whirling dervish like a big roller coaster. At the very end, you get off and then you go stumble off down the stairs. Those are cool, but you still need to do a little bit more than that. You still have to give a little more program. That's where a ceremony comes in. Flag ceremonies. Let the boys plan some. Don't just do the same one every time. Change it up. I've done one where the flag doesn't move, the boys move. That was different. Where I have each DIN come in, and where the flags are stationary. I've done it where we're in the round, we're in a square, we've done anything, and I've let the boys, the older boys, plan one, plan 2 or 3. Let them do all they can. Guide them, but this has enabled them later on to be able to do this kind of program. Ceremonies. Arrow of light. We make a huge deal of that. We give them an arrow, which is probably the most dangerous thing we can ever do to an 11-year-old, is give them an arrow. But luckily we know bows, so we're okay. And we even do a heavy shoulder award. You earn all 20 of the We Below badges. That is a cool trophy. When we switched from that trophy to that trophy, and this one's actually cheaper than that one, our number of heavy shoulders went up 3-fold. Why? That's so cool! I want to earn that. I'm okay with going, shiny object, shiny object. It's okay. Because the goal is that they're learning. They're going through and trying all these things. They're putting their energy to it. They're doing their best. That's the object here. We start also creating props. This is my bobcat prop. It's a very, very benign little thing. It's nothing more than a few pieces of wood. But when this comes out, and I have a series, I used to have radar candles, but I decided probably light radar candles on a fire in a school is probably a bad idea. I went to battery flavored, which is not quite as fun. But this came out, and the boys knew that it was going to be a serious ceremony, and they all automatically shut it down. It is a memory cue. Now, over time, I'll create something better. I'll get my router out, and I'll create this nice, elaborate thing. But that takes time. Just start with what you can. It's all about, adding just a little bit more of the program. I do change the order of my awards. And I try not to make it hey, we're the Ziploc group. Here's your Ziploc full of awards. Now, some of them are really out there. One time I tried putting them in dinosaur eggs. Paper mache dinosaur eggs. Let me tell you what, that was the worst thing ever. Because it took 4 million years to make the eggs. And then by the time I had them made and everything, it's just like, and watching the boys crush them and break them, it's like, this hurts. It was horrible. But don't be afraid to try something new. If you try something new and it doesn't work out well now you know next time. And more than likely, you'll still have fun doing it that one time. You just know that, you know, my return on investment's a little low on this one. We should probably think something else out. You know, there are things like, you know, one of the ones I want to try soon is set up a rocket course. You know, you've seen the rocket derbies. You know, let the rockets bring them into a landing station with the awards, and the boys are there to get their awards. I think that'd be awesome. That's probably about 3 more months. Yeah, I sort of think they're in, right, jot them down. We can do this. What will it take to do this? Well, I'll take this, this, this. I don't have time for right now, so let me put it in my work on this. Face paint. Boys love face paint. It's so simple. $1.50. Make a ceremony that goes with it. There are at least 100 ceremonies out there about the colors and what they mean, and certain lines mean certain things, and this is the brave, and this is this, and are most of them made up? You bet! Of course they are! Is that a bad thing? No. It's still teaching the boys something. They still have a ton of fun with it, and they definitely come going, we don't do face paint? Maybe. Maybe. Heck, my 4-year-old saw the blue and gold, he's like, we need to paint faces at home. A couple more years, buddy. If we can go Cub Scout, we'll do it. Okay. You know, special visitors giving away awards. My predecessor, as far as Cub Master, this is Mr. Barrett right here too. His thing was inventions. The man came up with a different invention for every single pack meeting, and he would come in with the craziest thing, and I was his straight man. I went from straight man to the comedy guy. It was great. But he would always come in, like for instance, this helmet here was the ability to, with a fake computer in the back, he would be programmed with infinite knowledge of scouting just with a push of a button, like the Matrix. But it would always go wrong. His inventions would always go wrong. Of course they would. You know, they were horrible. You know, he had made them in his garage. You know, I will know everything about knot tying, and next thing you know, he doesn't even know how to, you know, sit down. It's like, well, what happened? I don't know. Let me sit down and think about it. Fall on the floor. The boys are like, what happened? I forgot how to sit down. You know, and then we'd work through the rest of the pack meeting trying to reprogram him so he could sit down. Or, you know, he made a pill that he wouldn't have to eat your vegetables anymore. He just eat it, and the pumpkin head we saw in the very beginning, unfortunately, it not only gave him all his vitamins for vegetables, it also gave him a pumpkin head. That was horrible. You know, I'm the straight man, like, you know, we need to help him, you know, go find, call 911. But he would have guys, every pilot derby with the cars, he would always have someone show up. He had a friend who was a police officer and would come flying up, he would have his cruiser on, and right outside our window with the blue lights. And the cop come in. All right, who ordered the rocket, the rocket-powered cars? Oh, that's us. These are illegal, sir. They'd set him down and he'd be lecturing John for a while, and then John would plug in. It was his idea. So I'm being escorted out with the policeman while we're talking, and John's like, take the cars fast! That was a great pizzazz, and the boys were like, this is the best ever! Now, some of them know it was fake. You bet! Still had a great time. That's the kind of thing. Have a visitor come in. I read once, and I would always love to do this, is this one person came in with a parachute, with an undone parachute behind it, was dragging in as we're coming in. I have a message for somebody, and they're walking around, and it was actually awards, and they're handing out awards. They've actually parachuted in with their awards. That's the best thing too. These are some great things. Use your imagination. That's pizzazz. Pony Express person. Mystery. Plant somebody out in the audience that will, you know, that could come up and present the awards. Shake it up. Not always your Cub Master or whatever. Make a difference. That's pizzazz. Flags. It is so easy just to ignore this and not do any flags whatsoever, but I am a firm believer that every single den should have a flag. Why? It builds camaraderie and teamwork. They're going to be together for up to 5 years, right? For Stars Tigers, there's 5 years there. They should be developing who they are. When they get to Webelos, one of the first things you should do as a new Webelo leader is you go have them elect or create their own patrol. They are now a patrol. What animal would you like to be? You know, like this group was the Cobras. right? I had a den of 22 when I was a Weeblo leader. Way too big. I could never get them split because nobody ever wanted to split. So what I did, I split them into 3 patrols. I had the dragons, I had the cobras, I had the sharks. All 3 are predators: air, ground, water. Because they couldn't coexist in the same spot, or else one would be stronger than the other. But that's what we did, right? They all wear their patch, and they all developed their flags. It's very easy to use the flags, like right behind you right there. There's the old Weeblo's flag that you can buy at the scout shop, okay? The thing about those flags is they have a tiger flag, they have a Cub Scout flag, they have a Weeblo flag. They're switching them out all the time. If you want to use those, they're great. Just embellish them. Don't make them just plain old-fashioned thing. Like that one there has a ribbon with each of the boys' names on it. And when they were when they did a flag ceremony, I gave them a pirate flag. And if they did something else, they got jingle bells and all that. Give them, embellishments for their flag. But even better yet would be like the other flag over by you, Mike. Is that is a patrol flag at the very beginning, and they create a flag and they go with it from that way. And they can always add embellishments as the years go on, and ribbons and other things go along. I thought this was one of the most interesting flags I'd ever seen. This was a different group that came out to one of our district events. It's not even a flag at all, it's like a placard. But I thought it was very cool. They were the lightning patrol. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously some father has a really good job with woodworking a router, because it was 3-dimensional in relief and everything. It's like, this is really neat. I would almost be afraid to let the boys carry this one. They drop it and snap it in half. But, let them do whatever. Let them design it. Let it change over time as they change, but it'll be part of their patrol identity, their den identity to patrol's identity. That's what Boy Scouts do. Boy Scouts are in patrols. Patrols have flags. That's what we're doing. Cub Scouts is preparation for Boy Scouts. Good opportunity. Let them carry it. Take it on camping trips and parades. They'll have a great time with it. Embellishing flags. There for a while I did attendance, and if you had at least 75% of your boys attend 6 months in a row, you got a special embellishment. If you volunteer to do so many skits, special embellishment. And all it is I go to Joanne or whatever type, Michael's, and I buy a 50-cent to $1 little nothing, and put a safety pin on it, and it's special, and it goes on their flag, and they have these embellishments on their flags. Over the summer, if they all participate in enough summer events, they can earn the ribbon that is from the Cub Scouts, which is the National Summertime Den Award, which is at least 50% of their den working in each one of the 3 items: June, July, and August. These all on the flag. Real cool stuff. Service projects. Take them everywhere. How about takeaways? Flashcards. That is something as simple as work with Morse code. We did some Morse code for a while. Simple little card. On cardstock, I printed out 2 of them per sheet, cut the sheet in half, boom. Yeah, if you're a Cub Scout leader and you don't have a paper cutter, buy a paper cutter. These were great, these handouts. These were really, really incredible. Knots. My favorite couple knots. Out of time. Great. Hey, how are we going to do this? Okay. These are simple things that are takeaways that the boys can have and use later on. They're fun stuff. Beading. I've seen a lot of packs and also do where they give certain colored beads on a lanyard that sits from their belt for bringing your book X amount of time to a number of meetings, or having a friend come visit even if they didn't join, or number of pack meetings you've gone to, or camping trips, and it just becomes a history, almost like a coup. You've heard the counting coup? The Indian term, which was going out and touching the enemy, and that was an embellishment to the fact you went out and touched the enemy. It's called coup, and they would wear these kind of things, and it would just be a history of what they've done. And it's something that they sort of tangible for doing good things that help our program. How about ashes from a campfire? You like ashes from a campfire? How many of you guys in your pack have historic ashes? Anybody? Good. How many of you don't know what I'm talking about? Okay, that's good too. Historic ashes are this. At almost every single district or council event you go to, they will be putting into the fire ashes of previous campfires. And at the end of that campfire, you take ashes from that and take to your next campfire. My pack has ashes from the campfire that are from Braden Powell's original Brown Sea Island in 1907. That's where it can trace its history back to. It goes through every single national jamboree. It has ashes from the, it has dust from the moon. It has ashes from the World Trade Center. It has ashes from the Pennsylvania countryside. It has ashes from World War II events. It is over 40,000 campfires. And my boys are like, oh! And it is. As adults, my adults usually come to me more astounded by that than the boys. And I carry these to every single event. And what I do is I embellish them a little bit before I put them in the fire. I put sugar or a little magnesium because their spirit to the fire is in there. And when I pour it into the fire, pizzazz. Obviously safe stuff. Let's put a whole lot of gunpowder in that. No, safety first. But you know, by doing that, it adds more to it. And it shows you a history of scouting and the spirit throughout the time. Next time you're at a district ground zero layer, ask someone there if the district has any historic ashes hanging around. I'm willing to bet the answer will be yes. And they can give you even the smallest little thimbleful, and you can continue for your pack, and it becomes part of your history, your legacy. These are important things. When my boys leave to go to Boy Scouts, I give them a little bit of our pack's historic ashes just in case their troop doesn't have any. Most often they do, but just in case. Because they've been part of the legacy of my pack, and I want that kind of history to go with it. So these are, these are just little pizzazz things here and there. All right, the key here. Make your takeaways simple. If your takeaways look a lot like a textbook, or look a lot like a 6 pages stapled together, here you go, you missed the point. What's going to happen with that? Yeah, it's going to be gone. That's it. It even leaves the meeting. Okay, I'm cleaning up. Hey, there's 1, there's 2. How many did I hand out? 7? And there's 6. All right. They won't go anywhere. It needs to be something that the boys want to have and will actually go ahead and use. How many of something like this was laying around? 0. How many of these were laying around? 1. But that's okay, because I usually have people leave parts of uniforms and everything else. I always pick up more things than I came with anyway, so that one did. But put these kind of things together. Okay, what else? Pack t-shirts. I see a pack t-shirt right here. Does every pack have a t-shirt? Yep. My pack has just this year changed our policy to where we are including the pack t-shirt in our dues. Why? I want every single boy to have a pack t-shirt. Why? Because in the summer, I'm not going to have them wear that dark blue uniform shirt when we're going to be out there in 1,000 degrees. I want them to be wearing their pack t-shirt, and I want us to look as a unit, uniform. It's part of the pride. I ask the boys tend to wear it a lot of times different places. Now, my pack is pack 71, and I put on the back of every single one of our t-shirts the big number 71. Why? So in the distance I go, there's one of mine, there's one of mine, there's one of mine, there's another one of mine. Because everybody wears blue, yellow, or that's the color of the shirts, right? And from behind, they all look the same. Is that my boy? I don't know. Oh, 71. He's fine. That way I count. We're still good. Pack t-shirts are a big deal. Pack hats? Maybe. I haven't run into too many packs that do hats. Troops do a lot of hats, but packs maybe not so much. But that'd be fun. Special cheers. The one cheer that the boys know absolutely is going to come at the end of every meeting is I will start off by going, what pack? No. At the same rate, 71. And then we'll do lower or higher until eventually I am yelling so loud that the walls are like, what pack? And they're 71! And that's the way we end. They know it. When we are out at an event with other packs, I'll have to yell, what pack? 71! People know we're there. That's our cheer. Video. These boys here were doing the 12 days of scouting Christmas, and they was and they were singing, and and we made a little video for the pack to enjoy. But it was a lot of fun, and the boys got to ham it up. It was a ton of fun. Creative contests, displays. Have opportunities to have as many of the den's activities of what they've been doing brought to your pack meetings and displayed. A lot of packs don't do that. It gives the boys a chance to show off what they've done. It also gives a chance for the Cub Master to sort of play off of each one and talk about hey, this den was over here doing this, and they went on to go see it to here, and then it sort of allows us to tie it all together. Funny hats. Have a funny hat meeting. Everybody bring your funniest hat, and I'll, we'll bring the funniest hats up front. I always win that because I always have the funniest hats. Because I have 1,000 hats. How about running your pack meeting as a campfire? Have anybody ever done that? See the campfire outside? I'll bring that inside. We all sit around. We do a series of skits, and I run the entire pack meeting as a campfire. All the lights are off, and we got a couple flashlights. And I have a little sound of the crackling fire that's actually playing through some speakers. Yeah, that's going a little crazy. But it's still a lot of fun. And the boys look forward to it. They love it. And truthfully, it's one of my easiest pack meetings. Because I give each den an assignment. Okay, you have a skit, a song, and a cheer. And all I have to do is MC it. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. And the parents have absolutely no idea what they should be doing to this whole thing. I want to watch, but I want to sit. I want to. I can't use my phone because it shines really bright. I got to put my phone in my pocket. Yes, you do. Victory. What would a boy love to do? What's he want to see? That is your key. What do boys love to do? Figure it out. Each pack has its own culture. All boys are the same at their core, but they all have sort of their culture. Like right now, in my pack, Minecraft has become the obsession beyond belief. I am making right now some Minecraft heads. It takes forever. Oh my gosh. But I'm making some Minecraft heads, and we will do several skits, or somehow or another we will figure out a way to bring it in. Because I think, truthfully, it will capture them, and we will be able to put forth the program using it. And I know the boys will love it. Service projects. Besides scouting for food, you guys do service projects? Hopefully. Hopefully you're doing some in partnership with your charter organization. Scouting for food. Christmas, my pack, last pack meeting did exactly this. We brought in tons and tons of toys and we stuffed stockings. Every year I'm always afraid to take too many stockings from the holiday coalition. I said, we'll just take 35 this year. We filled those 35 and I could have filled another 40. People bring in tons of stuff. Had the boys go shopping with their parents and realize they're buying for boys I always get the boys 6 to 9 here, and said that do not have as much as them, and they are so giving. They want to make sure this boy has the best Christmas he's ever had. That's scouting. Toys for Tots, coat drives. I had one of my Weeblos decide to put together a coat drive. He ran it. He came up on it, and we collected over 300 coats. It took vans to that. And he went and talked to his school. This boy did an amazing thing. His heart was huge, and it made an impact to the rest of the boys. Food collection. We collect food almost every meeting. Eat it all year long, not just for Christmas. Operation Homefront. That's for families of soldiers who are not making it very well. So we bring in gift cards. Make sure that they don't have to struggle to decide, can we buy diapers for our child this week? No, unacceptable. That's what we do as Scouts. We help other people. There's tons of other local charities. Find them. Make it a Pizzazz. Mr. Sierra.
I got a quick nugget on the topic of service projects. Everybody sees the ring patch that Mr. Kale has around his Blossom badge from the anniversary 2 years ago. A lot of us have them. Kids today can't get them because they weren't part of it then. So there's a new program. It's the only other ring patch that's out. It's the Messengers of Peace program. It's white. It really pops on a blue Cub Scout shirt. And to do it, all you have to do is a service project, any service project, so long as you register the service project with the BSA International group up at scouting.org, Messengers of Peace, and then the kids get the ring patch. They love it. They can wear it their whole scouting career.
It's got a dove on it. It's a really neat little ring. Yeah. There are tons of opportunities just like extracurricular awards. There are tons of extracurricular things that are going on. Use them for your packs. Whether it be go on a hike. You go to a hike for a trail medal. Or whether you are doing a service project for your local community. Heck, the Jimmy Stewart Good Citizenship Award. I love that one. But, and then this one's Youth Patriotism. This is a program I created 4 years ago, which is a nationwide program that teaches heritage, service, and citizenship. Great opportunities. Pizzazz is only limited by you. It really is. It's only limited by you. Can you put too much pizzazz in something? Maybe. If I put down every single thing I have out here without a theme, it's junk. It means really nothing. I tried to theme up this room a little bit, but it's tough. But you know, make it a theme, add energy, add planning, and add just a little bit more. Okay, conclusion. Don't be afraid. Try something. If it doesn't work, well, we won't do that again. Some of my best meetings have been the ones where the thought of what I put together bombed miserably. Seriously, they bombed miserably. But it gave me an opportunity to make fun of it and, you know, bring a couple other leaders in, and we turned it around, like, you know, to show boys that it's okay to fail. You know what? Scouting is the only organization you'll ever be in where failing is not a bad thing. It is a safe place to fail. Life's best lessons are through failure, not through success. Anybody can, if you succeed, then life's simple, right? Seriously. You know, you're told, don't touch a stove because it's hot. Really? How many of us said, sure, no problem? Every single one of us, without exception, touched the stove at least once to know whether it's hot. That's how we learn, and that's how scouting is. Leave your adult self at the door. You're still responsible for safety, but leave your adult self at the door. Appeal to multiple senses. Sound, light, touch. Not just standing forward presenting something. I've got the lights off here, I got a presentation, a spotlight over there. I'm using light. If I'd had some type of sound going on, maybe you know, some type of sound in the background. These kind of things are options. Lastly, have fun. If you're not having fun, the boys won't either. And lastly, don't stress. You're Cub Scouts. You're having another meeting next month. Right? I cannot imagine where people who have a good attention to detail and really care about the boys could ever have a meeting that is so bad that you can't recover it next month. Right? That's all that matters. Have fun. Keep trying. Give the boys all you got. Alright, I'm sorry I took them with us. Make sure you sign up here. I'll be happy to send you any slides. If you have any questions, also send me an email and I will answer those in the next couple of weeks, especially since I have a break next week. Woohoo! Thanksgiving. Thank you all for coming.
Great job. Thank you.